Today I've invited another poet called Kieth Jarett, who we're going to be working with. So I'm just going to go over the project that we've been speaking about because I haven't seen some of you in ages. The plan is to create a series of t-shirts, or like one t-shirt design that we've all helped to create and all had a say in how it comes out, that we sell, that raises money for Opal. And the other plan is to create a publication which has something from everybody in it, and it can be literally anything we want. I think PJ said last time she was here, she held up a glass of water and she said, you know, how much of this glass of water would you say is your sexuality? And people say not very much. So, you know, we don't have to be defined by the fact that we're gay or lesbian people or bisexual or trans people from wherever. We can kind of use it as a chance to speak about whatever we want. I remember in the first session, people spoke about so many different issues, expectations of Europe as someone coming from Africa, intersex identities in Africa, loads of other different issues that came up, mental health in the asylum system, but literally whatever we want. The idea is that at the end of this project, we all have a copy of a book that we've helped to create, which has something from us if we'd like to contribute to it, and we all have some kind of input into t-shirts that we've designed. So Kieth is one of the poets that's going to be helping us to do some writing, if that's something people are interested in. Kieth's an amazing poet. So I'm going to hand over to Kieth, if that's all right.
Yeah, cool.
And then within the next couple of months, I'm going to get to you guys with some dates for workshops. But we're still looking for a venue where everybody can fit together. So yeah, this is Kieth Jarett.
Hello. I need to thaw a bit because I just my ears just went a bit cold. What I thought I'd do is just share with you a couple of poems that I've written. I think a couple of you seem familiar. I've seen you out and about, and so I'm really looking forward just to working with you to create poetry and just using words in creative, powerful ways. So this first poem that I'll share, I kind of had it as a bit of an anthem of mine, and it's called Acknowledgement. We who have survived, we who have queered, fagged and puffed our way through the school system, we the survivors of oppressive institutions and the sticklers and stone hearts that run them, we who have survived, we with glitter-proof ribs that once caved under the shadows of our parents' disapprovals, we with pockets made of hand-me-down runes, we of purse slips and handbag humour and zone 4, 5, and yes, there is a zone 6 commutes, we who once knew these streets by their bus shelters, who still know these streets by their old names, Racism Road, Homophobia Grove, Bigot Hill, we who know history's desire to repeat, who know progress is neither linear nor neat, we who do not take for granted. We who have survived the gentrifier's claw, we have seen our media, our companies, our governments parade themselves around rainbow flags and diversity awards at their fashionable convenience. We who have journeyed past this cluster of colonizing avenues, who have who have learned to sip heavily accented wine, who have washed our tongues in its morning after, who have loved beyond borders, as we do not fear the other, though fear is never foreign to us. We who were born on an island and whose parents were born on another island, we have learned to build bridges, and we have learned to cross those bridges even as they burn with the fuel the politicians provided. We who never take for granted, we stand in love and in fury and in power. Thank you.
I also forgot to say this, so Kieth performed at an event at the Immigration Museum the other day, which some of you guys came to, with PJ as well. Yeah, so I just forgot to say that for some of you who've seen some stuff.
I think I will share just a different poem that just came to my mind now. So I did some work. So I grew up here in London, and I lived for a year in the Caribbean, in the Dominican Republic. And so I'd spent, and this was before Skype was really popular. So I spent a lot of time just speaking Spanish and not speaking with my family at home. So I came back to London and almost forgot how to speak. And everything felt really weird to me coming back here. And I was still being asked all the time, where are you from? And that question sounded even weirder. So this was a response to that. And I think also what I do a lot of work in schools as well, where some of the young people I work with, I'm almost ashamed of drawing on the other languages that they know and that they use at home, and using it in a creative context. So I try and encourage that as well. I have 3 or 4 tongues in my mouth, and they work out several times a week, lifting heavyweight words through this smoke city which tries time and time again to tie them down and tie them out. My mouth harbors mixed messages and broken languages. My cheeks hide my mother tongue, and it is out of sync with the rhythm of the streets I know, where soul, jazz, reggae, reggaeton and merengue battle for volume control. Where are you from? De donde eres? Remembering my envy for the children I taught as they lined up for their daily chant. Atención, que es que ya nos valientes alcemos nuestro canto con viva emoción. And I wonder what our gracious queen would think if I told her British doesn't fit neatly in one's vocabulary book, because my tongues are like shoes, and every day I have to choose which ones to put on, and as I go to bed I am tongueless. They're scalzo, and I know my tongues can slip away at any minute, and they have to be kept under lock and key, lest the thief should come in the middle of the night and leave me speechless. Thank you very much.
I guess we could so just to reiterate, Keith's going to be doing a workshop to help you guys if you want to do some writing, to write some maybe poetry, write some prose, write some stories. But I also really like that the message of that poem as well is that, you know, that we speak in different tongues, and you know, I think that's something that PJ spoke about as well, saying that we might want to record ourselves because it might be easier to speak than to write. But also, you know, there's probably in this room lots of different languages that people speak, and different ways of speaking. So I really like the thought of the publication that we make being something for us, you know, and not for anybody else. So it doesn't matter if it's in a language that one group of people can't read. You know, it's something for us. I think in a very, very, I hate to think of stuff in such a kind of like, well, it's important to acknowledge it. I think in a very practical way, it might be nice to have a publication to take to a court case, and so people can show like I've contributed to this publication because I've as my understanding that sometimes people are asked this ridiculous question of how are you part of a LGBT community or something like this. So in a very annoying practical sense, it can be a useful tool, but in a much more interesting and hopefully empowering way, it can be a way to make something for yourselves that's actually that you're proud of, that you think this is a beautiful publication that you want to share with people. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or thoughts about either Keith's poetry or the workshop, or suggestions as well. Yeah?
My question and worry is, can I be taught how to do it like him?
I don't want anyone to write like me. I want you to write like you.
Yeah.
And so I do a lot of most of my work at the moment that I do is with young people in schools, and a lot of the time people are afraid to write how they need to write. And so what I hope all of you, can I just have a show of hands if you ever write for fun at home on your own? Just write for fun. Yeah, so a few of us. Oh, so we're kind of concentrated there. What I really want to do is to bring as many of you as possible into the joy of writing. I think probably I can't. We're kind of slightly different in the fact that when I was growing up, I really wanted to be able to draw. That was what I'd love to have done, like as a way of expressing myself, but I can't draw at all. And so for me, words was a way of like going through some of my emotions, but also a way of expressing myself creatively. And I think we all have that within us. I probably do have the ability to, and so I'd love to like bring that out of you, not to be exactly like me, because that would be boring if everyone then sounds like me, but to sound like you as well.
I just put this together so I can have a map in my studio of the kind of things that we've been doing together. I think this is gonna work. Maybe we can just hold it up for a second, like this. Yeah, I mean this is one of the screen prints that was made in one of the workshops. I'm trying to think whose collage it was. Was it your collage in the yellow jumper? This one here, if I could make one wish for the future, what would it be? No harm, no fear. Did you make that one? Yeah. No, next to you. Sorry, I can't remember your name.
Joyce.
Joyce.
Yeah.
That was your collage, right? It wasn't. Whose collage was that? Okay, well someone made it. But I think that's so beautiful and powerful. Like, you know, it's a simple message. What if you could have one wish or hope for the future, what would it be? No harm, no fear. Like, I can't remember who it was who made that, but I think that's beautiful. Another one that's my favorite. We exist, we exist, we exist. Proud to be a lesbian, that's your one. So this one is in reverse. The white bit should be black, should be blue, and the blue bit should be white. So we got it backwards, but we can mess around with it. And this one here, that's me. I can make it. The cat just like, I can make it. Like, I love all of these images that you created. This one down in the corner was made by people in Trinidad, and yeah, we can put it away. But I mean, these are the. And it just made me think, because you said, oh, everybody, you wish you could draw. There's so many different ways to make beautiful images, and you guys have already been doing it in different ways. So, the same way, I'm sure that we can make some beautiful writings together.